Hi guys, my name is Laura.
My name is Madison.
And welcome back to our channel. So about a month ago, we had a beautiful baby boy.
A baby boy.
Named Landon.
William.
Actually, his name is right there. And today we are going to talk about our birth story because I feel like in the labor and delivery vlog, like there's only so much you can put in it because it was a really long day and we kind of just wanted to go through the day with you guys and tell you about it because I think it was amazing.
You did great.
Thank you. So, January 5th was the day and I actually had no contractions up until like the night prior. Was my first contraction, which was no joke. But well, actually the night prior I was having a bunch.
That's what I told you.
That's crazy. So I'm looking at like the contraction app, or the app that I use to track the contractions.
The contractions.
Yeah. I already was over my due date, so I was Friday night I was 41 weeks. So Friday night started having contractions. I was already like 4 centimeters, and we like went out to dinner. And we ended up not going out to dinner because I didn't feel well. So we went home, we were just like doing puzzles and hanging out with our family. I was sitting there just watching TV and counting contractions pretty much. And then the next morning I woke up around 3:30, like my contractions woke me up. And they hurt so bad. Well, I'm really glad that I went into labor naturally and like didn't have to get induced because I think my body was like ready, and he was definitely ready. So
I've heard that if you get induced, it's a lot more painful because your body is not ready.
And the labor can be longer. I mean, it was still painful and long, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
So it was 3:30 and I just went out to the couch and I was like, well, I'm not gonna wake Madison up. Like, I'll let her sleep. There's no reason
nice of you
to wake her up. And my contractions were like 8 minutes apart. and then
they started to get a little bit more frequent. She got into the
and that's
tub.
when I woke you up.
That's when she woke me up around like...
No, actually, you and Sarah, my sister, was here too, and they kind of woke up on their own. And they were like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, we're having a baby today.
Yeah, it was probably like 5:30 or 6 that we both got up.
And I called my midwife. I forgot about that part.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think this is happening today. Like, what do I do? And she's like, well, like, you're good until they're like 5 minutes apart. She told me like get in the tub at home if that's what you want to do, like labor there, get some food, like go through kind of the like last minute things you want to do at the house and like take the time and breathe and like get there on your own, and then call me back when you're heading to the hospital. So I got into the bath and that was nice. Like at that point in time it was really nice to get in there and just like kind of take the weight off. And like I was so swollen like at this point in my pregnancy that I like, it was nice.
Her face was swollen.
My like now I feel like finally back to normal, but like my face was like out to here and like my nose was like twice the size. I hated it. From the moment I got in the tub to when I got out, they were like six minutes apart. And then I called my midwife again. I'm like, all right, we're gonna head to the hospital, meet you there. And then from the house to the hospital, they went to like 4.5 minutes apart.
Yeah.
So it like,
because me and her sister took a while to pack up the car.
oh my gosh, we didn't even have our hospital bag. Like,
we had a few things in there, but nothing like,
we didn't have it like fully packed. So I'm like in the bathtub, I'm like, Madison, get the bag, like bring it in here and like go over each item with me, make sure I have this, make sure I have this, and like,
because we didn't have any bags for him. We had nothing that we could bring him home in, so we just kind of threw some things in there.
Yeah.
Threw in a blanket.
Which you can tell because we had like no hospital photos. Like he didn't have like a cute coming home outfit.
Yeah.
Next time, our next baby maybe.
Yeah. Next time we'll be more prepared.
Yeah. So we get to the hospital around 8 in the morning. So I'd been laboring for a little like on my own. And we got there and yeah, like 8:15 was when I stopped tracking them on my phone. As soon as we got there, they like hooked me up and like started monitoring his heartbeat, my heartbeat, and my oxygen and like that kind of stuff. So then my midwife walks in and within like, she's like, all right, I think I'm gonna do like a check just to see how far along you are and all of that. And within like 10 seconds, like his heart rate dropped from his normal, so like 140, 150, down to 60, down to 30. And they like slammed the bed back. Like that's all I remember is like I was sitting up talking to my midwife and then they like slam the bed back. I'm laying down. She like goes in me
they flip her also. So like they move her back, they move her legs, and she like slides in pretty much.
Inserts herself. And
does something, and then baby's heart rate
goes right back up. And they were like, and then she's like, all right, like we're good. I'm like, what just happened? Like it was like,
but like I didn't say anything.
Thank God the midwife was in there like in that exact moment.
It was a little like seeing, because I was on the other side, so I was actually looking at the screen, and I just remember like it just kind of slowly like going down, and then all of a sudden it just plummeted.
And it wasn't like the monitor like lost like it wasn't like it went to nothing, like
yeah,
it was tracking.
Like disconnected.
That was crazy. Luckily we were at the hospital, my midwife was there. It was just like really scary because I'm like, my baby.
Yeah.
So after talking with my midwife, I was 4 centimeters and like 90% effaced. So I was still the same centimeters that I was the night before, the week before, the week before that. So not really much change there, which is crazy that I was walking around at 4 centimeters for forever. Yeah. It just blows my mind. They hooked me up to a different monitor that was wireless so that I could get in the bathtub, and the hospital had like had a really big jacuzzi tub like in the labor and delivery room, which was awesome, or so I thought, and I was really looking forward to it. But my contractions were so close together, and the tub, like, this sounds so weird, but it was like just long enough where like
she couldn't put her feet on the edge of the tub.
So when I had a contraction, I couldn't push against anything to like ease my pain, so instead my legs would like flex, so my calves started to cramp and my quads started to cramp, and I'm like, this is not good, we gotta get out. So I was in the tub for like an hour.
Which apparently other people had that problem before, and they would put a stool in there, but we didn't say anything.
Yeah, it's our fault.
So
we don't ask for help.
We don't. We just bite our lips and fight through the pain.
I think it's bite our tongue.
Bite our tongues and fight through the pain.
So I got out of the tub and I was so nauseous.
Yeah.
I hadn't eaten anything all day because I wasn't that hungry in the morning, obviously. I was nauseous, but I couldn't eat, but my stomach was hurting because it was so hungry. So at that point, my midwife was like, all right, we gotta, like, let's make a decision here. Like, do you want to get an epidural or not? And like, I cannot praise enough my midwife and like how awesome she was, because she's like, works really well with me because I like facts and I like information in order to make a decision. Like, I went in with no expectations. Like, on my birth plan, which I didn't have, but I wasn't like, I'm gonna get an epidural or I'm not gonna get an epidural. We said that we were gonna wait and see how it all went, and see how quickly things progressed. It was like early afternoon.
Yeah, probably like what, 2 o'clock?
Yeah. And finally I was like, I need to eat something and like relax, or else I'm not going to be able to push. So like I told the midwife, like, I physically could not push right now if you asked me, because my legs were cramping so bad from going in the bathtub.
Yeah.
And like my calves were just like getting Charlie horses in them, and it was not great. It was actually like that pain mixed with the contractions was just like, I was actually pretty good at dealing with my contractions by this point. Like, I had, like, on the ball and in the chair, like, I had a certain method where, like, as soon as if I move my hips in a certain way, then it, like, I could breathe through the pain.
Yeah.
So I felt like really confident in myself, but I also knew that, like, if I had to push, there's absolutely no way.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, let's get the epidural. That was awful. It was like the worst decision I made just because of what happened. The guy comes in and he's like, I've been doing this for 35 years and like whatever, like these are really easy, whatever. And he missed 3 times in my back, and he kept being like, do you feel this? And I'm like, yeah, like my right hip is like tingling, and it was just
like she was getting this weird sensation down her right leg, and
it terrified me because I've heard like epidurals are just scary because it's something in your spine. Like that's the only thing I could think of was like what could go wrong. And then finally he like got it in, I guess, and through the catheter they put in like a test dose. I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is.
But it's not the epidural medication like the fentanyl. It's
a different
medication. Something just to see that the catheter is inserted correctly before they start pushing chemicals into you, essentially. So
that worked.
So the test dose worked, and they were like, do you feel this? And I was like, yeah, I guess. Like it felt tingly like in my hip area.
Yeah,
but I could still feel it.
A little like pain relief then. So we're like, okay, it worked.
It worked. what we thought. I think at this point I was like able to eat a little bit. Like
No, because
I wasn't allowed to because of the epidural. So
she was able to
have chicken broth and apple juice.
You didn't have Sprite.
I didn't have Sprite. I wish.
I'm sorry.
Dang.
And she was able to kind of relax for probably about an hour. Okay.
So then my midwife came in, and right after we thought the epidural worked, and she asked if I wanted her to break my water, and I said no, because I just wanted to like rest for like an hour.
Yeah.
So I rested for an hour, and then she came back, and that's when I was like 8 centimeters, and she said like 99% effaced. Like she said she couldn't call it 100% because my water was still intact. So she broke my water right then, and then I had like one of those peanut balls, and I laid there for like an hour. And I could at this point like still feel the contractions. Like I could tell when the contractions were happening, not just looking at the screen being like, oh haha, I had a contraction.
Yeah.
Which was just from the test dose, like that really temporary relief. So I was having contractions and had the peanut ball, and I was just like gushing fluid, and this was like, I felt disgusting. Like it was,
because also there was meconium, so he had pooped already,
which means that also the baby like had to come. Like there wasn't really like an option for us to like wait any longer.
So they were getting everything ready, still letting all the fluid like drain out.
And then she comes back like I guess like another hour later, like not even. And I was in a pretty good amount of pain. So she was like, well, do you want to push? And I was like, okay, like let's see how that goes. I don't know, like
they wanted her to do some like practice pushes.
Like a test push. So I did one, and she's like, okay, like you are ready to go. Like if you feel ready, then let's go, you know?
Yeah.
So we started pushing, and
it happened really quickly. I feel like once she came in to do the practice pushes, it was
it was right then. Like my sister was in the room, and that wasn't like planned. Like she was just happened to be in there, and then she was like, well, do you want me to stay? And I was like, yeah, like stay, why not? Like let's have a baby. Like I didn't think it was gonna the whole entire day progressed a lot quicker than I ever thought.
Yeah.
Everything just happened so quickly. I don't remember ever getting like downtime. So my midwives are pretty like, I mean, it was like in a hospital, so I'm not gonna say they're like, it was like hippy dippy shit, but they like let me do whatever position I wanted to, which like I really liked. So I was on my like hands and knees kind of like over the bed, like with my arms hanging over it, which like for me felt super like natural and very like I felt really like strong in that position. But the issue was my legs were so sore from that stupid bath that I took that when I was like that, I would be like kneeling like on my knees, and then when I had to push, I would kind of have to like sink down to like push.
Be upright.
And then my legs would like cramp, and I was really frustrated at this point because I'm like, that is kind of how I pictured myself giving birth, and I was just mad that I couldn't do it. So then we went on my back, and I couldn't even hold my legs, like, or we didn't use stirrups or anything, right?
We tried to. So they had moved took the bottom of the bed out so that our midwife could be positioned there so that she was closer, and they brought the stirrups out, and Laura tried to put her legs on them, and her legs started to cramp immediately, and her
like
hips got
hips
super tight. So we couldn't do that. So we had to have somebody stand inside the stirrups, a nurse on this side and her sister on the other holding her legs.
Yeah, so after every push, then I would straighten my legs, like I'd be lying flat on the bed, and they would hold my legs flat so that I didn't have to like carry the weight. Like I felt so weak, like just my lower half felt really weak, and that is what she was saying, that's how my midwife knew the epidural didn't take, because there's no way I could have been on like my knees and like flipping over and like
as
moving,
much as she was.
because I was even lifting myself like with my legs. I pushed for an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And she said on average, like first time moms push for like average for 2 hours. So I was a little bit under that, and like I just didn't expect it because my mom had such short labor like and deliveries where she pushed for like 10 minutes with both my sister and I, which blows my mind. But during pushing, like I was just like, I got to a point where I'm just like, I cannot do this. Like I physically like have no more energy in me, and like I just wanted to cry, and like I had the oxygen mask on because I like felt like I couldn't like take in breaths when I was not having contractions. So like in between the contractions you're supposed to like relax and like gear up for the next one, but I wasn't able to do that because I was so like tense. And I got pretty negative there for a second. Like I was just like, I can't do it, I can't do it. And then like I look up and I see like Mads, and I see my sister, and my sister's like, Laga, you can do this. And then my midwife was just like so empowering and like gave me all the confidence.
And she didn't coddle, you know, she didn't say,
she wasn't like, no, it's okay, like let's just take a second, let's like relax.
She was like, you are the only one in this room who can do this, and you're the only one who is dealing with this pain, but you are strong enough and you can handle it.
Yeah.
And it was really cool because I had no idea, and I'm like, no, like I was a coddler. I was like,
yeah,
it's okay, babe, you're fine. Laura was more, how do I say, she coaches herself. She doesn't do well when I mean, she did great when the midwife was coaching her, but she doesn't like when people are
telling me what to do.
Telling her what to do. So even when working out, she doesn't like when I'm like, let's go, you got it. She hates that. She just yells at me. So I knew that I was just gonna be a punching bag, and
which worked.
Yeah.
It worked for what we needed.
You need
it
one
too.
And you are really good at telling yourself what you need to do.
Oh my gosh.
Talking yourself through a situation, because you kept saying, we're okay, we're doing great.
I remember that. Like, that's funny. I didn't remember until right now. Like, I was like, my eyes were closed and I could tell people were like staring at me, but I'm like, it's okay, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. You're fine, we're fine, we're okay, we're okay, we're okay. And something that I forgot too is I went to this prenatal class, and it was done by a doula, and she said to have like a mantra that like you don't have to tell anybody, and it's just like an internal thing to like get you through your labor, your delivery, and kind of like the last few weeks of pregnancy that can be really hard. And I didn't tell anybody this until after.
No, I didn't know any of this.
Yeah, but my mantra was like, what was it? Oh my gosh. I'm in control of my body and everything is for you, I think. Because I kept saying that like during the end of my pregnancy. I'm like, when shit would happen to me, I'm like, everything's for you. Everything's for the baby. Everything's gonna be okay. Everything's for you. Everything's for you. And now we have him. I also, this is like another thing because the epidural didn't work. Like my midwife was like, all right, Laura, like I want you to take a break. Like this next contraction, don't push, like relax. But my contractions were so strong and so close together that like I couldn't like wait one out. Like I tried.
No,
and
her,
like
her
I was like,
would just contract,
and then my legs would come up, and it's so weird. Like I have said this like time and time again. Like I do not feel like I learned how to push. Like how my body needed to push the baby out until my last push, and then he came out,
which was a great push.
So I feel like if I had been better at pushing, or like now, like going into my next one, I feel like I might know how to push better before, because I was just frustrated because I felt like I wasn't gonna push for that long, and she's like, all right, maybe 20 minutes left of pushing, and I was like, absolutely not. Like, absolutely not. And then exactly 20 minutes later, the baby came.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So then he comes out, they put him on me, and then Madison found out he was a boy, and then told me, and it was just like pure like elation. Like I've never felt so like strong as a woman as I did after like pushing him out. It was insane, and it hurt more than anything, and like I will never get over it, but like it was beautiful. So then my midwife is like, you can turn the video off right now if you don't want to hear any more details, because he's a beautiful baby. That's what matters. But like she's like standing there like with her hand like still up me, and I'm like, what's going on? She's like, well, first we have to get the placenta out. So I got that out, and then she's like, you tore. And I didn't know how bad I tore until I looked at my medical record like a week later, but I had a 3rd-degree tear, and it took them about like an hour to stitch me.
Hour and a half.
And that I could feel all of it. So that was almost more painful because I could feel the little...
Yeah, but they had to do an internal one first, and then the external ones.
No. It was messy.
We never wished that on anyone.
Yeah. Then I like, so my eyes are like pretty, like I'm pretty focused on like him. Like I'm staring at the baby, I'm with Madison, we're like having this pure like elation moment, and I like look up, and there are like 15 people in the room. So
Yeah.
we had him at 6:45 p.m. and at 7 p.m. was the shift change. So all of the day nurses that we had were switching and all the night nurses were coming on. So like,
we had both shifts of the baby nurses and the mommy nurses,
yeah,
all in the room together.
And
We
the
were only ones
pediatrician
there.
that was on call was called in because there was meconium, like there was poop in the when they broke my water.
I wonder
So
if they just call him in anyways, just to...
no, he told me, he was like,
Oh really?
yeah, he said it was like a special case. So they brought him in because they had to like get all the, if he had swallowed or like inhaled, like if there's any meconium in his lungs, then that's not good. So I like look up and there's like all these humans in the room,
Yeah.
and then they like take the baby away, they're stitching me up, Madison's with the baby, like it was like the most
Took
chaotic.
the baby away, they took him like 10 feet away. He was still...
No, like took him away from me.
Yes, I know. I
know.
Like, still in the room, stayed with us.
But it was like the most chaotic 15 minutes, honestly, like after they came out, the most chaotic 15
the pediatrician
minutes.
came in, the OBGYN came in, it was like all the nurses, the other people, the techs,
so
like
crazy.
there was a lot of people.
But then we
It
got to
was
bring him
sad.
home and he's perfect.
Yeah.
Is he crying? So that is all we have for our birth story and for our video today. I'm gonna take the camera and go show you guys him as he's sleeping in the swing, just so you can see how precious our little guy is. Let us know down below if you have any questions. Something that I keep getting asked from like our friends and visitors is like, are you ever gonna have another, or like whatever, and I am ready to have another one. So it didn't traumatize me to the point where I would never do it again, because I think it was like really beautiful. And I can't wait to have more. So subscribe if you are not already. Like this video if you liked it. And we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. There we go.